Hello, welcome to everyone in this video. This is our lecture number 18. 17 lectures are covered. From lecture number 1 to lecture number 7, we discuss about the differential equation solution by Frobenius method and especially discussed about the legendary polynomial, Bessel's equations and the Hermite polynomial. After that, lecture number 8 to 14, we discuss about the solution about the partial differential equation by the separation of variable and others Laplacian equation solution and the wave equation solution also discussed in this lecture. Next, lecture number 14 to 16, we discuss about the Fourier series. Okay, about the Fourier series discuss in 15, and then in 16 we discuss about the problem asked in the previous year of the Fourier series already discussed in 16. And then 17 we discuss about the some special integration like gamma function, beta function and error function will be discussed in lecture number 17. And in this lecture, that is 18, we want to discuss Fourier transformation. Total Fourier transformation will be discussed in this session, and after in the 19th lecture we will be wants to discuss about the previous year solution of this part Fourier transformation. I think clear about the all lectures are in this series. The flow of this lecture you want to understand, and if you want to watch the previous lecture you can go through the description box, link are given there. You can watch. This is the syllabus we wants to discuss in this lecture. Okay, this is the syllabus of University of Calcutta for third semester physics honors. This portion, that is the Fourier series, will be discussed in lecture 15 and 16 will be discussed. And Frobenius method, this will be discussed from lecture number 1 to lecture number 7. And this portion, that is some special integration, will be was discussed in last session, that is the lecture number 17. And this integral transformation we want to discuss in lecture number 18, and this was discussed in lecture number 8 to lecture number 14. Okay, so I think clear of all the route, and this will be will be upcoming session will be discussed. Clear? So let's start. What do you mean by integral transformation? Actually, in this transformation we can solve various partial differential equation and the differential equation with boundary condition. Actually we can solve by this integral transformation. There is various lot of transformation, but in our syllabus only Fourier's transformation will be accumulated. Okay, so there are various example of integral transformation like Laplace transformation, Hankel transformation, Miller transformation, sorry, Hilbert transformation. Laplace transformation like that, this function f of x, which is transformed into the another function s, will be like that. And Hankel transformation will be like a similar fashion. Here only the difference is that is the k of s. You can see there is a generalized form of integral transformation, that is the function which is a function of x will be transformed into another function which is s, and this function will be different. This is small fx, this is one function, capital Fs, this is another function, right? And this difference will be like that. This integration will be some limit f of x dx is common. This k sx will be different for different type of transformation. Clear? You can see here the in this Laplace transformation, this a k of ss, this is the relation between the s and x, will be minus s x e to the power minus sx. In case of Hankel, this will be x into jnx. You know jnx Bessel's function. Melted transformation will be like that, x to the power s minus s. So you can think this is the depending on the k sx, there is different type of integral transformation. And Hilbert transformation will be like that. You can see this is the transformation, and the reverse will be known as the inverse transformation. In the similar fashion, the Fourier transformation will be like that. This is the basic definition: 1 by root 2 pi. Transformation of f of x will be 1 by root 2 pi minus infinity plus infinity f of x e to the power I kx dx, which is known as g of k. This is the function of k, and the inverse will be like that. This is the inverse Fourier transformation of g of k will be like that. You can see here this product must be 1 by 2 pi. You can take this is 1 and this is 1 by 2 pi, no problem. but due to symmetry we can take 1 by root 2 pi, 1 by root 2 pi. Their product must be 1 by 2 pi, and this is on the dx integration, this is on dk, this is exponential ikx, this is exponential minus ik. So you must remember this two line, that is the Fourier transformation and its inverse. Sometimes this actually given in your question, otherwise you can take this basic definition of Fourier transformation and its inverse. Now you need to know about the Fourier integral theorem. What do you mean by Fourier integral theorem? Actually, when we discuss about the Fourier series, we discuss that any periodic, any periodic function can be expressed in the Fourier series sinusoidal. This is known as Fourier series. But in case of non-periodic function, these also can be represented in sinusoidal function. That means sine function and cosine function using Fourier transformation. This is the important part of the Fourier transformation. In case of the periodic function, this function can be represented by sine and cosine function using Fourier series expansion. For in case of non-periodic function, this can be also represented by sine and cosine function using Fourier transform expansion. Okay. So the Fourier transform integral theorem says, Fourier integral theorem says that if any function f of x satisfies Dirichlet condition, you know about the Dirichlet condition which was discussed in Fourier series. On every finite interval, this must be a finite, then above Fourier transform are the correct. That means this Fourier transform is possible and is inverse also possible when this function satisfy this Fourier integral theorem. When the function satisfy this Fourier integral theorem, that means this will be finite. You must satisfy this condition. If this will be finite, then this f of x can be transformed into Fourier transformation. So the basic condition for Fourier transformation is the Fourier integral theorem. If any function satisfy this Fourier integral theorem, then you can transform this function as a Fourier transformation. Clear? Next, Fourier sine series and Fourier Fourier series to Fourier transformation. Actually, Fourier transformation derived from the Fourier series. You know the complex form of the Fourier series will be like that, and if you take the summation as a infinite, so the summation can be converted into integral form, no problem. So this CR will be like that, this summation in form of CR will be changed into the integral form. You know the basic definition of this Fourier series in the complex form. In this lecture we will discuss this one. So if you take this in the integral form, the summation converted into integral form, then you can see this is will be the g of k. So this is nothing but f of x will be like that, right? So we take this f of x will be this integration. So this is f of x, and transform of this f of x will be g of k. You can see here there is 1 and there is 1 by 2 pi. This can be distributed by 1 by root 2 pi for each. Clear? So this is the basic concept, that is the Fourier transform actually derived from the Fourier series. Now the sine transformation and cosine transformation. Sine transformation means this Fourier transformation with the sine function. You can see here this is root for 2 by pi 0 to infinity g of s is this is for actually sine function of k sine kx it is. Actually this exponential converted into this exponential take into two parts, sine function and cosine function. When you take the sine function, this is called the sine transformation, and when you take the cosine function, this is called the cosine transformation. I think clear? Because there is this exponential term, exponential ikx. You know the exponential ikx is nothing but exponential ikx is nothing but cos kx plus I sine kx. So if you consider this sine part, this is called sine transformation. If you consider the cosine part, this is called the cosine transformation. Clear? Next thing, here we discuss some example. For example, find the Fourier transformation of the exponential decay function like that. When t less than 0, this is 0. When t greater than 0, this is exponentially decay. So by the definition of Fourier transformation, you know 1 by root 2 pi minus infinity to plus infinity f of t this. So you can see there is minus infinity to 0 is 0. For 0 to infinity, this is the decay function. So if you just taking the integration, you can get this answer. Very simple. Next, find the Fourier sine and cosine transformation of this. This example will be used the find sine function and cosine function, right? So the integration of the sine function, sine Fourier transformation root under 2 by pi, just use this formula, just use these two formulas, sine or Fourier transformation and cosine Fourier transformation. So you, if you use this sine Fourier transformation, you can see f of x into sine kx, so f of x is e to the power minus ax. So if you integrating this thing, I think you can do this integration. If you take this integration as a I, and you know, if you step the two step by parts, if you take two tests by parts, you can easily find out the value of I. Clear? So within this value of I, you just use this limit 0 to infinity, you can get this. I think this limit will be like from here, limit will be from here minus ax. So this total limit, you will be put this limit, if you put this limit, you will be get this expression. Okay, so I think you can do this integration to two step by parts integration, first one and second one, you will be get the same thing I, and this I will be back out, and after that you will be get the value of I. If you do not uh, get this answer, you can comment in the comment box. I can provide you the solution of this step. Okay, I think you can do this. So after that, the cosine function, the similar process, you will take the cosine and you will also get this thing. Okay, I think you can do this. If there is any problem to solve this question or solve this step, you can comment in the comment box. Next one, some property of Fourier transformation. Actually, this property help you to solve the different Fourier transformation problem. That's why you need to know about the some property of Fourier transform. First property is says this Fourier transformation of these two additional term will be nothing but the individual Fourier transform like that. Okay, this is called linearity transformation. That is the we can take the Fourier transform f1 x is g1k and Fourier transform f2x is g2k. Okay, when we take these two transformations, so this is a total function. So here put the total function and this separate out, you will be get easily. This is known as the linearity transformation property. Next property is known as this Fourier transform of f of ax is nothing but 1 by a g of k by a. To transform from is g of x. This is called change of scale. If you take g of k equals to Fourier transform f of x, will be this is the basic definition of Fourier transform. And if you see, this is f of ax, so this must be ax like that. Now if you put the ax equals to p, so dx equal to 1 by a dp, and the limit will be minus infinity to plus infinity. So in this if you here put this value of x equals to p, you will be get this expression. Now you will be take this k by a as a k prime. So you can see this is nothing but Fourier transform of f of p. So this is nothing but g of k prime, because Fourier transform f of x equals to g of k. So this is p. So p is nothing but k prime, uh, because p and k prime is related. So that's why this is k prime and k prime is k by a. So you can prove this thing easily. This is known as the change of scale. Next one, Fourier transform of f of x minus a, which equals to e to the power I k g of k. This is known as the shifting property. This is known as the shifting property. Clear? So this g of k is nothing but Fourier transform of f of x. This g of kx is nothing but Fourier transform of f of x. So this is the basic definition. Now you will take the f of x minus a. So this is 1 by root 2 pi. Take this f of x as a f of x minus a. So if you put this take this x minus a as a p, so dx equal to dp. So this is f of p to the power I, x equals to nothing but p plus a, and dx equals to dp, right? So e to the power ik, and this will be the f of p to the power ikp dp. So this is nothing but g of k. This is nothing but g of k. This is nothing but g of k. So this is the proof of this property. This is known as the shifting property. This is known as the shifting property. Clear? Next one, this Fourier transform of f of x cos bx, this is nothing but half of g of k minus b plus g of k plus b. How this can be proved? This is the basic definition of Fourier transform. If you take this function as a f of x cos bx, so this will be f of x cos bx. This cos bx is can be written as into exponential function, and take these two are separate out. This is nothing but g of k plus b, and this is nothing but g of k minus b. Simple. This is already discussed in previous. Next property, that is the Fourier transform of the f prime x equal to minus I k g of k. This prime actually denoted the derivative. This prime denote the derivative. This prime actually denote the derivative. This prime denote the derivative. Clear? So the basic definition of Fourier transform is like that. So if you take put here f prime x, so you will be get this one, and this is nothing but the basic definition of derivative. You know the limit f of x plus h minus f of x by h. So this separate out these two things, and after that you can change in like that. It will be I k x plus h dx plus h. So you need to minus this one in the similar form like that. So this is nothing but the g of k, and these two term are additional, and here we also this is known as the g of k, and this is the additional term. So combine these two things, you'll be get this one, and you can see this is 0 by 0 form, so you can use the L'Hospital rule. After L'Hospital rule, the derivative of h is 1, and derivative of this minus I k to the power minus I k h. Now if you put h tends to 0, you can see this will be minus I k. So finally you get minus I k g of k. Clear? In general form, this is the first derivative, there was a minus ik. In the second derivative, there will be minus ik whole square. In the third derivative, this will be minus ik whole cube, so on. So in the nth derivative, Fourier transform of the nth derivative will be minus ik whole to the power n g of k. This is the general form. Clear? Next thing is the Parseval identity. This is another property of the Fourier transformation, which says that is the two function f1x, f2x transform will be g1x and g2x. That means the Fourier transform of f1x equals to g1k, and Fourier transform of f2x will be the g2k. If these are the condition, then their product, that is the transform and its complex conjugate product, total integration will be the same with the function at its complex conjugate of second function. Clear? So star is nothing but the complex conjugate. Star is nothing but the complex conjugate. Complex conjugate. Star is nothing but the complex conjugate. Conjugate. Star is nothing but the complex conjugate. Clear? So these two are complex conjugate first one, and complex conjugate second one will be the same as the function and and the second function complex conjugate product will be the total integration will be the same. This is the Parseval theorem. And in the special case, when these two are equal, this can be written as like that. This is the theorem, Parseval theorem. You can prove this very easily. Just take this product, you can know this is nothing but the Fourier transform form like that, because you know the inverse Fourier transformation actually this is. And if you rearranging them, this take on the that side, so this is g1k, so this f converted into g1 and g2. Clear? And when these two are equal, they will be obtained. The calculation you can do the yourself, very easy. Convolution, this is important property of the Fourier transformation, which says that is the f star g, which is the total as a function, and another function f og sometime you call, or f star g of a function f and g is defined as like that. This is the total function integration transform of this total function will be like that: minus infinity f of p g x minus p dp minus infinity plus into f of x minus p gp. Okay, this is the convolution theorem, and the convolution theorem says that the Fourier transform of this convolution will be root 2 pi individual product of the individual Fourier transform, like that. You can see this is the total function, and this is f of x, this is g of y. Their convolution will be like that. You can see here this is a delta function like that, and if you product with this function on this function, you can see this will be the total Fourier transformation will be like that. Clear? You can see here there is an example using this delta function, delta x plus a plus delta x minus a. This function will be delta x, and this will be this constant function. If you product these two things, you can easily find out this integration. Okay, next one, representation of Dirac delta function as a Fourier integral. The Dirac delta function represent can be Fourier integral, and you can convert the Fourier transformation of Dirac delta function. This Dirac delta function, you know, this is actually at a particular value, at a x equals to x0, x equals to x0. This has a value, some value, and the other will be 0. This is the delta function. You know, this is actually delta function. Clear? So at a particular value, this have some value, otherwise this is 0. So in the integral form, you can write down this one. So the total integration of this f of x will be at this particular value, this is have some value, otherwise this is 0. So if you take this x0 equals to 0, you will be get this thing. Now if you put x equals to minus z, you can easily take this step. You can easily find out this delta x is nothing but delta of minus x, because this is the symmetry function. So this identical for individual f of x, this will be the equal. Next one, actually if this is even function, so these two are equal. If this is odd function, there will be minus, and this minus actually changes. So finally you will be, in both cases, if you take f of x even and if you case f of x odd, in both cases you will be get the same result. Okay, you can check, there is a step jump actually, you can check this thing. Next is next thing is the next another important property is this, we write down these things here, we discussed here like that. So taking this equation here and put the Fourier transform form of delta x equal to, so delta x minus x0 can be represented like that. So this is actually representation of the delta function in respect to the Fourier expression, Fourier transform expression. So if you put x0 x not equals to 0, you'll be get this thing. In the three dimension representation, you can write down this as a like that. Okay, so the Fourier transform of delta x minus a, if you want to find out the Fourier transformation of x minus delta, so you know this is x minus delta x minus a equals to like that. So the Fourier transform will be, there will be 1, and this is the function you need to transform, and this is the minus, and this is dx. So you know this property, that is minus infinity to plus infinity f of x delta x minus x naught dx equal to f of x 0. You can see here this is the function, so this x must be a. So if you put in this function x equal to a, you will be get it to the power 0, which is 1. In the same manner, you can take this f of delta x Fourier expression, delta function, and the derivative Fourier transform of this delta function, also obtain this one. Next, another important property of delta function is the delta ax equal to 1 by mod delta x. Clear? In case a greater than 0, when a greater than 0, for the positive case, minus infinity plus infinity f of x delta x dx. So if you put ax equal to z, you can put here z by a and delta z equals to like that. And you know this is nothing but f of 0, because delta z minus 0 here, so this is f of 0. If you put this is 0, so this becomes 0, and this can be written also like that. So if you compare these two things, you can easily delta x equal to 1 by a delta x. In the same manner, if you take this as a negative value in the same process, you can get this is will be the value. So you can see this can be written as magnitude only, this is nothing but the magnitude. So you can prove easily this function. This is an important question because this was asked in various times in the university question. Next thing is the three-dimensional Fourier transformation. This is nothing but the in the previous one we discussed about the one dimension, and if there is three dimension, there will be three integration, and this k will be three function kx, ky, kz, and x also dx, dy, dz. Clear? This is the Fourier transform, and this inverse will be like that. Where if you want to put into the vector spherical polar coordinate system in the r vector form, position vector form, you can write down this as the minus this is nothing but k dot r, and this is d3r, or in the inverse will be like that. This is the representation of three-dimensional Fourier transformation. There is an example on the three-dimensional Fourier expansion, is that in 3D space this function f of r process the spherical symmetry, so that this f of r, this r is the position vector and this is the function of r, distance only. So the find the position Fourier transformation of this as a one-dimensional integral. So the here you can see there is a three integration. Actually there is three integration of r, so these three integration must be represented in the one integration. How? Take this spherical coordinate system dx dy dz. This is the volume and this is r square sin theta d theta d phi dr. In this spherical polar coordinate system, this is the small volume. So the k dot r equals to k r cos theta, and where k is the magnitude of this k vector. So the Fourier transform will be like that. This is the Fourier transformation you can see in here. So there will be three integration, three part, r, theta and phi, and you can see there the integration of phi equals to 2 pi, and for integration of sin theta part you can easily find out, because the derivative of this portion will be sin theta. And after that, if you take this as a z, new parameter t, and if you derivative you can easily find out this integration. I think you clear, because the derivative of this portion actually gives the sin theta d theta. After that you will be get this expression. So this expression you can see depend only r, there is no theta or phi variable. So this is the one dimensional integral. Clear? Next one, there is some application of Fourier transformation in differential equation. Actually there is various application in the Fourier series. Sorry, Fourier transformation. First application you can see, that is the ordinary differential equation can be solved by this Fourier transformation. How? This is the ordinary differential equation, and the Fourier transformation, this transformation between omega and t. Clear? So this is inverse transformation will be like that. Now if you take the Fourier transformation of this equation, you can write down these things, and after that just taking the Fourier transformation of this differential equation, like that. And you can see this double derivative you need to bypass, this one you need to bypass, and for every bypass you will be get I omega, right? Every this is the derivative and this is the integration. For derivative you will be I omega, and there will be two derivative term, that's why I omega square. In that case you need to a single derivative, so this will be like that, and the next one will be omega naught square goes to like that. So now after integrating by parts you will be get this expression. After taking this common you can get the value of x. By inversion of this x equals to this is the function of omega, so the function of t will be integral transformation of x. Clear? So this is the solution of the differential equation. I think you remember this solution which is obtained in the wave equation also. And this is the nothing but damped equation of damped harmonic motion. This is the equation of the damped harmonic motion, and the solution will be identical. I think you will be obtained this solution before. Next one is the one dimension wave equation. This is the one dimension wave equation whose solution also can be find out by this wave equation, by this Fourier transformation. How? If you take this Fourier transformation of this equation, and you can see the same things, you need to uh, you need to using the bypass method take this as a derivative, and this is the integration. Will we get this double term ik square, and there also will be get the like that. So this can be written as this is the differential equation whose solution will be like that. You can directly written this solution, and the initial condition is this one. So if you put this initial condition in this expression, uh, you can get this equation, and put this value, you can see c1 equals to c2. After that you will be get this expression, and again the boundary condition that xt equals to 0. this u value equal to f of x, financial of f of x. If you put, you can see f1 plus f2 equal to u k 0. So finally you get c1 equals to, like that, putting this value you will get this expression. If you take the inverse, the k function converted into k function converted into x function, this is the f of x. And if you wants to taking this integration, finally you get this solution. And you know this is the solution of the wave equation in one dimension. So the solution we actually obtain in different in the differential equation problem, but this can be also solved by this uh, Fourier transformation method also, right? Another one is the diffusion or heat flow equation. Also these are also solved by the separation of variable in the partial differential equation, but this can be also solved by this Fourier transformation. How? The same process, take this Fourier transformation of this equation, and there is a double derivative, you will be get minus ik square, and after that you will be get this equation, just taking this integration. After that, using this boundary condition, this constant will be like that, and take the inversion, you will be get the Fourier transformation. Take this Fourier transformation, you will be get this expression, and this is the Fourier transform inversion. And convolution theorem helps us to solve this equation very easily. You can check this calculation, just very easy, but you need to step by step follow up this calculation. After finally you will be get this solution like that. This is the solution of this heat flow. So I wants to mean that is the Fourier transformation is a basic definition. This is the one of the definition, one of the transformation. There are lots of transformation, integral transformation, but Fourier transformation is the important part, because these are the more application actually based on the Fourier transformation. There is another application by Laplace transformation also, and others transformation have their different specific application. So most of the application actually depend on the Fourier transformation. So this must be, yes, some useful things for the further studies, right? So these are the question which asked in the previous year in Calcutta University. Question number 1, question number 2, question number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You can see here for each question, this is actually previous year question of Calcutta University which asked in the previous year. Okay, so these are the question you must try to yourself to solve this question. And this is the question which asked in jest. Actually in the jam we did not get any transformation question. In the Fourier series asked various lots of question in jam examination, but you can see there is jest examination also asked this question. CSR net actually frequently asked this question. You can see 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 16, 18. There is lots of question. 15 also, there's a lots of question. Get 2015, lots of question in different examination, just CSR net get are frequently asked. So you try to solve this question. This is the question, lots of question, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. These are the question from previous year of Calcutta University. This is from jest 1 2 3, and this is from CSR net 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Clear? And this is a question from GATE. So you will try to solve this question. In the next video we will be discuss the solution of this question, but in the meantime you try to solve this question from this lecture series. Okay, so if there is any doubt in this lecture series, you must comment in the comment box. So this is all about me. This is my contact details. You can connect with me with the Telegram channel, and this is my online platform, and this is my YouTube channel details. Go to this channel, you will be get the different face related video, some mathematics plus also. If you want, you can go to the description box, link are given there, a different playlist there. Like this session, if you learn something from this session, share this video to your friends so that he or she also get benefit from this video. Subscribe this channel if you new in this channel. Those already subscribed, thanks for subscribing. Press the bell icon to get the notification of upcoming video. So take care, we'll meet in the next video as soon as possible. Thank you.